Welcome to Vegas Hockey Hub here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Kelly. When it comes to Vegas Hockey Hub, we have discussed a lot about the Vegas Golden Knights, and respectively, the one team I've been trying to spotlight as of recently, a team I haven't really given much respect to until a while ago, is your Henderson Silver Knights out there at the Dollar Loan Center. The brand new state-of-the-art Dollar Loan Center. When it comes to the Dollar Loan Center, I will say that it is one of the best minor league hockey arenas there are. Recently we did a ranking of all 32 NHL arenas. I broke down the fact that you have all these NHL arenas out there. They're very good NHL arenas. I broke those down. Who knows? Maybe in the future one day, if I run out of episodes, I could do ranking all of the AHL arenas from 1 to 32. Because why not? How about we do that in the future? Talk about the Dollar Loan Center, hype it up a little bit more. But when it comes to the Henderson Silver Knights itself, we did a report on them in October. We did a report on them in November. So, to recap, it's starting to close in 2022. It is only fair and it is only right that we do a report on the Henderson Silver Knights for December of 2022. So we're going to kick it off by going over the notable players and their stats heading into 2023. So as we close of the year 2022, the leading point scorer for the Henderson Silver Knights is veteran winger Sheldon Rample, who has 22 points on the year, 15 of them being assists out there with the Henderson Silver Knights. When it comes to him, he has had 3 power play goals on the year, over 100 shots attempt with the Henderson Silver Knights in the year 2022. So when it comes to Sheldon Rample, what can I say besides the fact that he was a great veteran addition to the AHL? Sheldon Rample, he has been with the AHL for a while now. In fact, he is entering year number 5 of being in the AHL. He just came off a 69-point season. Nice. In 2021-2022 with the Vancouver Canucks affiliate. This is the same Sheldon Rample who was with the LA Kings, with the Vancouver Canucks, and now is with the Vegas Golden Knights. Signed a 2-year, 2-way deal with the Vegas Golden Knights in the 2022 NHL offseason. So, to me, it's pretty remarkable that in 224 career games in the AHL, Sheldon Rample, 63 goals, 166 points, and over 140 penalty minutes in his career. So Sheldon Rample's right now the leader for the Henderson Silver Knights in points with 22. And the fact that he has had 3 power play goals, he has also had 2 shorthanded points. He's had 2 game-winning goals for the Henderson Silver Knights. And like I said, over 100 shots with Sheldon Rample. So I understand that Sheldon Rample is the leading scorer and the leading point getter for the Henderson Silver Knights. And second there is Byron Fries, who is also another addition to the Henderson Silver Knights. 20 points on the year in 30 games so far in the AHL. Now, Byron Fries, he has been playing professional hockey since 2011-2012. This is a veteran who has had over 400 games in the AHL, 125 goals in his career in the American Hockey League. Now, what's even more amazing, this is a guy who last year had a 20-goal season in 55 games in the AHL. He gets brought over in the offseason to the Vegas Golden Knights and has 20 points so far in 30 games in the AHL season. So with Byron Fries, it's a situation where you brought over somebody who has experience. You brought in someone who has been here for a solid decade in professional hockey. It didn't matter if it was in the AHL, the ECHL. He played in the Kelly Cup in the ECHL. He's played in the Calder Cup final in the AHL. And this is somebody who even represented Canada in the World Championship, about a decade ago. So when it comes to Byron Fries, he's been a fantastic choice and was a really good addition to the Vegas Golden Knights, adding him this offseason. And I will say that him scoring his 100th AHL goal back in 2021, playing his 400th career AHL game earlier in 2022, he has been the definition of longevity in hockey. And for someone who right now is 31 years old, he has been a long-time stalwart of the AHL. And I just want to give a shout out to the guy who has 20 points on the year, second with the Henderson Silver Knights. I also want to give credit to the number 2 prospect in the Vegas Golden Knights system, and that is Lucas Cormier, defenseman. 14 points in only 24 games. He is one of the leaders of the Henderson Silver Knights when it comes to assists. So, with Lucas Cormier, 12 penalty minutes, 14 points, a +1 on the year, about 50 shots on net. And what really makes me stand out about Lucas Cormier at 20 years of age is that this is his first professional season in North America. This is his first season playing pro hockey at this level. Last year, he was in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League competing there not even 12 months ago. Now he is in the Henderson Silver Knights. He has played well over 20 games by this point, and having 14 points is not bad for a guy who's entering his first season with the Henderson Silver Knights. Now, I will say when it comes to Lucas Cormier, the fact that he hasn't gotten called up yet, the fact that he hasn't gotten his cup of coffee in the NHL is alarming. Because for a 20-year-old who's a number 2 prospect in your system, you should at least get some, if not a little bit of playing time in the NHL. So we've talked about the leader in Sheldon Rample. Second place in points is Byron Fries. Their number 2 prospect, Lucas Cormier. But how about the Vegas-born Gage Quinney? 19 points on the year. He is currently the goal leader with the Henderson Silver Knights. Currently leads them in goals right now. So Gage Quinney, 19 points on the year, over 70 shots. And for a guy like Gage Quinney, who has been with the Henderson Silver Knights for a couple of years, he has been with the Vegas Golden Knights system for a couple of years. So when it comes to Gage Quinney, him playing youth hockey in Vegas, him being born in Las Vegas, and the fact that he is now suiting up for the Henderson Silver Knights playing in the AHL, what it really tells me is that Gage Quinney has gone full circle. Gage Quinney went from being a young kid in Las Vegas, probably watching the Las Vegas Wranglers, probably watching his dad, who was on the Las Vegas Thunder, to now playing with the Henderson Silver Knights, to getting a cup of coffee in the NHL. Actually became the first player born in Las Vegas to play a professional hockey game. Yeah, that's him, by the way. Gage Quinney was the first player to suit up in an NHL game that was from Nevada. So, Gage Quinney playing in the AHL, having 5 years in to his career, over 250 games played in the AHL, and is about to get to 175 points at some point in the year. So, want to give a shout out to Gage Quinney for what he is doing for the Henderson Silver Knights. 19 points, leads the team in goals. Lucas Cormier, the number 2 prospect, 14 points on the year, 10 of them assists for the Henderson Silver Knights, the number 2 prospect at only 20 years of age in his first professional season. playing pro hockey. Byron Freeze, 20 points on the year, second leads second on the team. Sheldon Rample, their off-season acquisition, a veteran in the AHL, 22 points on the year in 29 games so far. But I mentioned Lucas Cormier for a reason. I said that him being the number 2 prospect in the Vegas Golden Knights system, he's done pretty well. Well, how is the number 1 prospect doing? How is their former 2020 first round pick, Brendan Brisson? How is he performing with the Henderson Silver Knights? How is their future, their so-called best prospect in the AHL? How is he performing in Henderson? Well, unfortunately, Brendan Brisson is not living up to the status at this point. In only 20 games with the Henderson Silver Knights, he has had 11 points, 8 of them being assists. He has had only 1 power play goal, only one um, and only 1 shootout goal. And when it comes to Brendan Brisson, about 40 shots on goal. I mean, that's not even 1/3 of what Sheldon Rample has done, and he leads the entire Henderson Silver Knights with over 100 shots on goal. So for Brendan Brisson, 20 games, 11 points, it's not bad for a 21-year-old. But the problem with Brendan Brisson, unfortunately, is that he is not going to be held up to the same level as everybody else. Him being the top prospect, him being the number 1 prospect, a former 2020 first round pick with the Vegas Golden Knights, he is going to be held to a higher standard than mostly everybody else who's going to be 20, 21, 22 years old. It's going to be very similar to Zach Dean, who's a 2021 first round pick. When he eventually gets to professional hockey and starts playing in the AHL, they're going to hold Zach Dean to the same standard that they probably are going to hold Brendan Brisson to right now. It's very similar to Erik Brannstrom. Erik Brannstrom was the Vegas Golden Knights' number 1 prospect back in 2017, the inaugural season. Erik Brannstrom was their top prospect. And unfortunately, when he didn't develop and didn't become this great defenseman right away, they put him in a trade package for Mark Stone. And sadly, Erik Brannstrom still to this day has not become the star defenseman that the Vegas Golden Knights probably thought he was going to be at one point. After Erik Brannstrom got traded, Cody Glass became their number 1 prospect around 2019, around 2020. And Cody Glass, unfortunately, never really developed either into their top guy. They eventually traded him for a former number 2 overall pick in Nolan Patrick. So when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, their number 1 prospect 6 years in, it has had mixed results in terms of how it performed in terms of Vegas. So hopefully Brendan Brisson can be a catch for the Vegas Golden Knights. But so far, 20 games, 11 points. It doesn't look great at the moment. At the moment, it does not look promising for Brendan Brisson. But he is still 21 years old. He still has time to develop, still time to progress. This is his second season in professional hockey. So I believe that his leash with the Vegas Golden Knights and his potential is still there. So we're going to see how he does long term. But as of right now, 11 points in 20 games, that's kind of underwhelming for a number 1 prospect in the Vegas Golden Knights system. So as we're talking about the Henderson Silver Knights, doing a December of 2022 report here on Vegas Hockey Hub with your host, Ian Rakelli. I also want to give an honorable mention to Daniil Myromanov. 13 points in 17 games for the Henderson Silver Knights. The fact that Myromanov is almost averaging a point per game, nearly 3/4. He's pretty much getting a point in 3 out of every 4 games he plays with the Henderson Silver Knights. So this is someone in Daniil Myromanov. He's gotten a cup of coffee in the NHL. I want to specify this. Daniil Myromanov, he has gotten a taste of the NHL. But for Myromanov, who is 25 years old, a guy who is entering his second season playing for the Vegas Golden Knights, this is someone who was signed by the Vegas Golden Knights back in 2021. So, him being only 2 years in, he has played 75 games in the AHL. He has played, I think, less than 15 games in the NHL. So for someone who is in the KHL, for someone who has played professional hockey in Russia, now has had a cup of coffee playing professional hockey in North America, I really hope that the Vegas Golden Knights do not send Daniil Myromanov back down once Shea Theodore comes back. I really hope they don't send Daniil Myromanov down once someone like Ben Hutton or like someone like Alec Martinez or when someone like Alex Pietrangelo, when the 6 defensemen that are currently on the roster get back to full strength. I hope they keep Daniil Myromanov as either a healthy scratch or they put him in a situation where he becomes a 6th defenseman with Nick Hague, with Zach Whitecloud, that situation. Because in my opinion here, Daniil Myromanov, he has proven in the AHL that he could be a quality NHL defenseman. He has played, like I said, 15 games in the NHL as their defenseman in Vegas. So him having 13 points in 17 AHL games, having 3 out of every 4 games, he registers a point in Henderson. I say that Daniil Myromanov, he has completed his course for now. He has completed the training process. Now it is time to put him on the NHL roster on a more long-term basis than just giving him 4 or 5 games at a time and then sending him back down to the AHL. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong in this situation, but I truly believe the Vegas Golden Knights would be a much better organization, would be a much better roster if you had not just one young defenseman, not just 2 young defensemen, but you had a trio of young defensemen in Whitecloud, Hague, and Myromanov in the NHL. But yet again, that's just your host, Ian Rickelli's opinion. So let's break down the schedule for December of 2022. Let's talk about what has happened with the Henderson Silver Knights. So to kick it off, they had a back-to-back series with the Coachella Valley Firebirds, which are the affiliate of the Seattle Kraken. And before I talk about these games real quick, I want to mention the Seattle Kraken being a potential playoff team in the NHL. The fact that Seattle Kraken would be a 7th seed in the NHL playoffs if it started today, I think is pretty special. The fact that the Seattle Kraken would take on the LA Kings in the first round of playoffs as a second-year expansion team, yes, they were not lights out like Vegas Golden Knights were, but Ron Francis had a vision. Ron Francis and the organization up there in Seattle, they had a game plan in place, and they have executed it brilliantly out there in Seattle. So I just wanted to give credit where credit is due to the Seattle Kraken, them being a wild card team, being the 7th seed if the Western Conference playoffs started right now. So getting to the Coachella Valley Firebirds, in the first game on Friday, December 2nd, the Coachella Valley, they beat Henderson 1-0 in this matchup. And, being at home, playing at the Dollar Loan Center, it was a very low-scoring game. As a matter of fact, when it came to this 1-0 matchup, there really wasn't much offense going on at all. In fact, it took into the 3rd period for anybody to actually score. Now, I will give credit to Joey Daccord, who is the goalie in net for Coachella Valley. He was the player the Seattle Kraken took from the Ottawa Senators in the expansion draft 18 months ago. So Joey Daccord, he had 23 out of 24 shots out there with the Coachella Valley Firebirds. You also had a situation with Laurent Brisebois, who we'll talk about later in the show. So Coachella Valley, they won the first matchup of December. They won that game 1-0. And then they had their back-to-back. So on Saturday, December 3rd, the Vegas Golden Knights were wearing specialized jerseys against the Coachella Valley Firebirds. As a matter of fact, they ended up having these special jerseys, which I thought was pretty cool. So you had Byron Freese. He had 2 points on the night. You had Jonas Rundberg, who scored the first goal of the game. You also had a situation where Alex True, who they got from the San Jose Sharks in the expansion draft, he scored late in the game for Coachella. You also had Pavel Doriev, who tied up late in the third period. He had a situation where they ended up scoring late out there in Henderson. They lost 3-2. Michael Hutchinson, the veteran goaltender out of the group, he had 28 out of 26 shots stopped and a 92.8 save percentage. That situation there. So the Henderson Silver Knights losing their first 2 games against Coachella was a unfortunate situation. Now, continuing the conversation and talking about the month of December and doing the Henderson Silver Knights December report, they go and take on the Ontario region. They had a 1-game series against the LA Kings affiliate, who, by the way, the LA Kings, 3rd best record in the Western Conference right now, and they are only a few points behind the Vegas Golden Knights in the Pacific Division. Henderson Silver Knights, they pick up the win. They win 3-1 at the Toyota Arena out there in Ontario. Caden Korczak actually had some good amount of points in this game and actually had a shorthanded goal in that situation. So Caden Korczak, the young up-and-coming defenseman, the number 3 ranked prospect in the Vegas Golden Knights system, him scoring in the third period a shorthanded goal, picking up his first goal in the Henderson Silver Knights season. You had Vegas-born Gage Quinney. He had a 2-goal night in this game. They won 3-1 against the Ontario region. And Laurent Brisebois went 30 for 31 in this game. And actually, after this, Laurent Brisebois was named AHL Goalie of the Week. So out of all 30 goalies in the AHL, Laurent Brisebois was named Goalie of the Week. So give a shout out to him real quick. Yes, he is no longer in the NHL with the Vegas Golden Knights, but he did get an accolade with the Henderson Silver Knights in the AHL. So they go on the road, they take on Ontario, they win. They do a back-to-back game against Colorado on December 9th. They go to Colorado, they go to the Budweiser Event Center out there against Colorado Eagles, the affiliate of the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, and they win in overtime 3-2 on Friday. Then the next day on Saturday, December 10th, it was rinse and repeat. It was deja vu. Henderson picked up the win 3-2. So the Henderson Silver Knights, for the first time in forever, had a 3-game winning streak, taking on Ontario and back-to-back against Colorado. So the Henderson Silver Knights picking up some momentum in the middle of December. They also ended up going out and getting some help in terms of roster transactions, bringing up Patrick Gay and Daniel DiMatteo from the Savannah Ghost Pirates of the ECHL. So it was a pretty good move, the Henderson Silver Knights calling up 2 skillful players from the ECHL and bringing them to the AHL. They go back home to the Henderson Silver Knights for a 4-game homestand. December 14th, they take on San Jose, and they beat San Jose, and they win 5-0 in that game. As a matter of fact, that 5-0 game was incredible for one reason. Because that 5-0 game was against the San Jose Barracudas and picked up their 4th consecutive win of the year, which means that the Henderson Silver Knights had a 4-game win streak for the first time all season. Byron Freese scored 2 goals in the game. The number 1 prospect, Brendan Brisson, had 3 points in that game, and Laurent Brisebois recorded a shutout, his first shutout of the season. So the Henderson Silver Knights getting on a 4-game win streak in the middle of December was fantastic. Unfortunately, it was short-lasting, however, because Friday, December 16th, taking on the Abbotsford Canucks, they lost 3-2. Saturday, December 17th, they beat Abbotsford, get a little bit of revenge, and they win 3-0. And Laurent Brossoit, once again showing that in the AHL, he has gotten a little bit better, built some confidence there. So Laurent Brossoit, second shutout of the season. Now, December 22nd, they're staying at home, taking on Coachella Valley in a 2-game series, and they lost 3-2 in the first game on the 22nd, and then lost 1-0 on the 23rd. So the Henderson Silver Knights losing all 4 of their games against the Coachella Valley Firebirds of the Seattle Kraken was alarming. Very similar how into the November report, they went 0-3 against the Bakersfield Condors, who was the affiliate of the Edmonton Oilers. So you had 2 teams that are in their division, not just in the AHL, but also in the NHL, and having a hard time against. Whereas the San Jose Barracudas and the Colorado Eagles, it feels like the Vegas Golden Knights and the Henderson Silver Knights have something in common, and that is beating them in very dominating fashion. Now, the Henderson Silver Knights took on the San Diego Gulls, the AHL affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks, in the last 2 games of December, and those were great games as well. So we have about 2 minutes left here on Vegas Hockey Hub doing our Henderson Silver Knights December 2022 report here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. And before I get off, I just want to very quickly talk about what the Henderson Silver Knights have planned for New Year's Day. So at 1:30 p.m. Sunday, January 1st, when the San Diego Gulls continue their series at the Dollar Loan Center, the AHL affiliate of the Anaheim Ducks, the Henderson Silver Knights are going to have a promotion that night. Now, thanks to Desert Radiology, they're going to be having a branded sunglasses courtesy of Desert Radiology. The first 4,000 fans to enter Dollar Loan Center will receive these sunglasses, and fans are encouraged to wear pajamas to the game. So you can go out and get yourself some pajamas, wear it to a hockey game, and it's 100% legal, it's legit, and they will let you do it. So that's your little promotion there. If you don't have any plans New Year's Day, January 1st, I would say at 1:30 p.m., go to the Dollar Loan Center, get your co-branded sunglasses, courtesy of Desert Radiology, and wear your pajamas to the game, and they recommend it. I also want to give a quick shout out to the marathon we're going to be having here on PRConnectionsRadio.com. January 1st, we have a bunch of great shows, fantastic creators, people who put on amazing content here on PR Connections Radio. And all of those shows and your host, Ian Rickelli, we will be doing content all day long on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. So on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2023, I highly recommend going to PR Connections Radio and checking out not just the time I'm on, but check out every creator who's going to be on this marathon for PR Connections Radio. And it's going to be a day of absolute great content, fantastic fun. So I recommend checking it out. So this is Vegas Hockey Hub here on PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. We are here in the sports entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. This was our Henderson Silver Knights report for the month of December 2022. And until next time, continue watching junior hockey, support all hockey, go Knights go. Until next time, have a good one.